Well, I want to say hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world. And I want to welcome you to another edition of This Morning with Solivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio, our very, very favorite radio station out in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I'm joined today by my amazing co host, Teresa Greco. Good morning, Teresa.
Good morning, Brian, and good morning, listeners.
Well, today it is one of our favorite days. It's Motivational Monday.
Yay!
Yay, right? Where we're talking about inspirational stories from around the world. But before we begin, we want to make sure that you're part of this conversation as well. Teresa, we love questions, we love comments and thoughts from our audience. And so we want you to post so that we can talk about, different things that are happening and all that kind of thing. So, including what you want to say about our topics today. So, with that, I want to ask you, Teresa, really quickly, how was your week?
My week was busy because
Mhm.
I am the editor of a luxury men's magazine here in Canada and one of their senior writers.
Mhm.
And I've been doing a lot of writing for our summer issue that needs to come out ASAP.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I spent the whole last week writing, the whole weekend writing. Yeah,
Wow.
lots of writing. What about
Wow.
you?
Well, I worked this weekend, but my honey and me, we got a chance to go out and hang out a little bit on Saturday. Little bit, but so much to do. The weekends come and it's like, okay, well,
Mhm.
I can get all this other stuff done. And you're like, oh, it's like, okay, which
Yeah,
one of these 10 things am I going to get done today?
yeah,
And try to rest and try to recuperate
yeah,
and all that kind of thing. So it's it can be a little difficult, but all in all, it's still a good week and
yes,
still a good weekend. You
yes.
know, one of these,
Weather was nice too. The weather was nice here. I don't know how it was by you, but
it rained a little bit, but we needed it. We really needed
Mm,
the rain here in DC because of my plants were like I've been trying to water as people know I love the outdoors. I love taking care of my little babies outside, and was just kind of like they were getting a little thirsty. Even though I was trying to water them, it's not the same as like those really good rains over a period of time
uh-huh.
where it gets really moist and
Yeah,
that
down
kind of
deep.
deal.
And
Yeah.
so, Brian, I wanna ask you, so I was
Yeah.
out doing the same thing.
Mhm.
So, uh, the last couple of years, I've had an outdoor garden because
Yeah.
I really, really love fresh tomatoes,
Uh-huh.
and I'm literally getting massacred by the mosquitoes out there.
Oh!
I don't know, but, like, I was on fire. I don't like, I
Ooh.
have two little gardens, and
Mhm.
one in this one corner has been ridiculous. Like,
Wow.
you go out and it's attack mode, and Teresa's, like, a little allergic. I come in, I have welts all
Oh,
over.
no.
Yes, and it takes hours for it to calm down, like, and I know some people are worse, but it's bad. So I need to look into getting some kind of mosquito suit or bug suit or
Y
something because,
yeah,
man, I can't do it.
you can do one or both of 2 things. Number 1, I mean, include some type of natural, um, insecticide or
Yes.
something that
Where on
for
myself?
yeah, well, on
Yeah.
yourself, but also on, like, your plants, right? That don't harm, like, bees and other things that are necessary for your garden and that kinda deal.
Oh,
but you put that on there, but you also like put it on your shelf. There's like other plants that you can buy that you can intersperse within your
oh,
garden that
right,
are
right.
actually repel
Yeah,
mosquitoes and that kind of thing. So
right,
those are
right.
two things. I always do that. If I'm going to be working out
Yeah,
there for a while, I'll put on my overalls, right?
uh-huh.
Spray the areas where I know I could get bit up with some
Yeah,
natural insecticide and
yeah, it
repellent,
didn't
and then I
work.
go out there and go and work.
They
So
did it di I in
it didn't
specific.
work.
No, I put the spray on and they did not care. They
Oh,
would
it was sauce.
and through your and through my pants,
It
like,
was like sauce for you. They're like, ooh,
yeah,
this is some good sauce.
maybe. It
A
went
little
through my
seasoning.
what is that? Through your pants and everything. They're ruthless. They are
Ooh, you got those tough skeeters.
yeah, yeah, really bad. So, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, if people wanna maybe write in throughout the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, that's a good question. So if people have like suggestions for Teresa and
Yes,
not get
please.
not to get bit up while she's in her garden, please just
Yeah.
post to our chat as we're
So
talking about our stories for Motivational
yeah,
Monday.
yeah. So one thing just to say, I
Sure.
did a bit of research and I heard that coffee grounds is one way
Yes.
to try to keep them. So
Yes.
I have done that,
And it's
but
really good for your plants too.
oh, is it good for the plants? I just
Yeah,
put it
it
on
it,
the
it
grass
helps
like
build
around.
it helps bring the nutrients out of the soil. It breaks up like
Oh,
clay deposits and stuff like that. And
uh-huh.
it can supercharge the nitric
Oh,
and that kind of thing. So yeah, read about it. But it's really good. It's good for keeping mosquitoes down because it keeps the water content down, but it also is good for the plants as well. So it's a win-win.
okay. Because I didn't put it on the like on the plants. I put it
Yeah.
around on
Oh,
the
yeah, you put
grass
it on
and
the
stuff.
soil, not on the
Yeah, yeah.
plants, on the
Yeah, yeah, no,
soil.
yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I had put it around, like, on the grass part, not in the
Mhm.
actual garden, because I didn't know if it was good to for
Ah,
it to be near the plants, so
yeah,
I'll put it on the soil now too.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why don't we get to these stories that are I know people are like itching for us to talk about this stuff.
Mhm.
So why don't we get to our first story, which is from the LA Times out in California. The goal of the Heart of Los Angeles, or HOLA, Eisner Intergenerational Orchestra, is simple: to bridge cultural and generational gaps in this sprawling city. Launched in 2021, the orchestra has over 70 members, from teenagers to senior citizens, meaning high school cellists perform next to retired bass players. Now, Maestro Daniel Sook told the Los Angeles Times that there is an absolute crisis with seniors who are just so lonely, and and a younger generation that has no connection to them. The orchestra has changed this. Older musicians mentor the younger performers, while the teens help their new friends figure out how to download the app Sook uses to communicate with the members. Now, violinist Jurston Galamets, who's 27, has a doctorate in generology and genetology, which he wants to see society change how it views aging and the elderly. The arts are really the way to do it, he told the Times. And the orchestra is a canvas for connections. How cool is this?
Very,
We
very.
were talking about this earlier, in that there's something about making sure that the young and the old connect with each other in a special way, and this is just something that's just amazing, and I'm glad that they're doing it out there in LA. I was trying to find if they had any broadcast or any music available, but I couldn't
Mhm.
find it, and so we'll try to find some stuff and maybe play it on a future broadcast. But anyway, what do you think about this,
I love it
Teresa?
because it brought back for me some memories of when I first started working. So I worked for 10 years in a long-term care facility.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I used to hear all these amazing stories from, the different residents that would share, you know, things from their past, and I mean, some of them in there were like, 90, right? So imagine the
Mhm.
stories that were coming out, and I grew such an appreciation that I still carry with me for, people that are older. So there is, because there is ageism,
Right.
is one of the things that we battle, let's say, in society, and I I always felt that, I loved the wealth of knowledge that they held. And,
Mhm.
me just being a youngin in the world, I just thought it was I thought it was great. And so I feel like, that's an element that some of the teens that are part of this are able to hear, let's say, some of that knowledge.
Yeah, and I found out that I mean, we were talking about this offline before we started today. I found out that yes, there is actually even a choir that is part of the orchestra. So
Mhm.
they actually have a choir. I'm going to show this beautiful picture. Um, I mean, so cool. Of this beautiful choir here that's part of it, and you can see in the image there that there's young people, there's older people, and everybody's kind of singing together and that kind of thing. So, highly recommend that people go check out this article that's in the LA Times. I'll put it in the chat. It'll warm your heart around this intergenerational orchestra that is helping to bridge the gap between the young and the old. Um, it's
Right.
sunny. It's funny. There's one part of it that the uh, it said at one orchestra rehearsal, Mary Jane Pluffer told me she hadn't played her saxophone in decades and was a tad apprehensive about dusting it off. I had to learn how to replay, she said. And but the kids were like, "Don't worry, miss, you'll be better next time."
Mhm.
It's awesome. It's amazing. I mean, that's what it's all about.
I loved about, the article, the fact that they said they have been united by music,
Yeah.
right? So that is what's
Yeah.
at the forefront of
Yeah.
what's brought all of these people from various walks of life,
Yeah.
various ages together, is that the
Right.
focus is just on the music. It doesn't matter, how long you played, how long you haven't played and are just starting to play again.
Mhm.
Um, and just being led by that, and I
Right.
think that that is so cool that music is one of those ways that, it brings people together, just like food,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that music is in dance too, right? One of those things that we could,
Mhm.
it's amazing, it's amazing. So, yeah, I loved that part when it said that, the focus of what's bringing everyone together, even though at first they were all strangers, they're like, "How's this gonna go?" And then after a couple weeks of weekly rehearsals, they were able to realize that it doesn't matter. Any of that stuff doesn't matter because it's all about the music.
Yeah, I mean, just perfect. It's a and I thought that this would be a perfect way for us to get our week started with more of these great stories for Motivational Monday. Um, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got even more fantastic Motivational Monday stories coming up just for you right here on This Morning with Solivity. We'll be back, in about 60 seconds.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Solivity. I am joined today by my wonderful co-host, Teresa Greco. And we have a fantastic show, Motivational Monday, which we love, 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 love. We want to get you something in your spirit to get you piped and ready for the rest of the week, those challenges that are coming down the pike here. So why don't we get to our next story, which is actually another story from the California coast, and it comes from TV station KTLA, which is another. This is such a heartwarming story. I love this, love this, love this. More and more blue whales are being spotted off the coast of California, a welcome sight as these massive mammals, the largest animals on Earth, remain endangered after nearly being hunted to extinction. When the International Whaling Commission banned their hunting in the mid 1960s, it was estimated that there was just 600 blue whales left. To get the population back up, the U.S. enacted restrictions on fishing gear and implemented shipping lanes to keep ships away from whales. A 2014 study in the University of Washington found that the California blue whales were the only population to recover from whaling. And today it's estimated that there are over between 1,900 and 2,200 blue whales around Southern California. Jenny Dean, Vice President of Education and Conservation at the Aquarium of the Pacific, told KTLA, it's not just one entity that is contributing to the success of the population's rebounding. It's really the efforts of everyone. So again, just you hear all these stories about our environment and things, and those are important, but it's also just nice to hear a story about how we are doing things that are having a major impact on things like this, like blue whales. I mean, they're beautiful. They're beautiful creatures, and we needed to do something.
I agree that, and it's amazing how just, I mean, they've only noted, these two small changes, as you said, with the fishing gear and the shipping lanes, that how it's made an impact. So sometimes I'm wondering if it's just, a couple small things that can have a big impact, that we think,
Mhm.
oh no, who knows what we're going to have to implement, and that they've realized that just those small things, unless there was more, but that's what's listed in the article, that has
Mhm.
had a major impact.
Right, 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 right. And I love the fact that, again, as they said, they estimated that there were only 600 like 30 years ago, and now that is basically more than tripled
Mhm.
in the last 3 decades, and um and that's due in part to the efforts that the US has made to protect them. It says that um one in the article itself, it says that though we're doing a lot of things, I don't want to misread this. Blue whales in their total number around the globe are still endangered, and that um like I said before, there's between 1,900 and 2,200 blue whales in and around Southern California, with anywhere between 10,000 and 25,000 blue whales across the globe. And they said that, just to put this into context, the Wildlife Fund estimated that there was probably close to 250,000 blue whales globally at their peak. So 90%, basically over 90% of the blue whale population across the globe has been killed off. That's sad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, impressed with what's happening in California, happy to see it, and there's more that needs to be done.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that for me, what stood out from this article was when we don't interfere with nature,
Yeah.
Mother Nature has an intelligence about it that we can't even comprehend,
Right.
right?
Right.
That the energy that is flowing through everything and everyone that
Mhm.
unites us all, that, as I said, there's an intelligence there that we don't even have to worry about, right?
Right.
That the animals in nature know somehow what to do. And that
Mhm.
if we don't interfere with that, they go
Right.
about their business
Exactly.
merrily just doing what they have. Like when I watch the birds and the squirrels, I'm like, I watch them. They're working all the time. Sometimes they're playing. A lot of times they're
Yeah.
working, right? They're
Right,
getting
right,
their
right, right.
food. They're like taking care of their babies. They're like doing different things.
Right.
And I'm like, it's just amazing to say like, wow, how do they know what to do, right? But even our bodies too just knows what to do. So if we don't interfere with it, nature will repair itself.
Right.
Nature will continue to flourish,
Yes.
as long as we don't interfere with it. And so
Absolutely.
I'm like, I think we have to be cognizant of our interference, but also having faith and trust that there's something bigger than us that is worrying about and controlling and taking care
Mhm.
of humanity, but just of the world and of the universe.
Right. Absolutely. In the article itself, which I posted in our chat, for those of you who want to read it, um, the person who is from the Aquarium Pacific says, when we're able to take collective action and think about balance, such that
Mhm.
people and the activities that we want to support, like shipping, like recreational use, like commercial fishing, all of those things can coexist. So it's
Mhm.
all about making
Beautiful.
sure that what you just said, Teresa, I
Mhm.
mean, just to put a
Yeah.
end cap on this, that we have to think about our world, that we're working in cooperation with Mother Nature, not saying that it's an either or, because
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be. So
Yeah.
again, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to report on some really good news that was reported out of the Guardian in regards to specifically women who have been diagnosed with early breast cancer. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Solivity. See you soon. Hey there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Solivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Solivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Absolutely. Go check out our Aspire Academy by visiting our website at soulivity.com. There's even free courses by myself and Teresa and our other hosts that are there that you can take. Just get started. It's a lot of fun. You'll learn a whole lot about yourself, and you can continue or even start your journey to living your best life today. So anyway, this is our Motivational Monday. I'm here with Teresa. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, good morning.
And we love this day because it's all about inspiring you and getting your week started in a proper way, not heavy or down, but uplifted and with some good some feel good stories. Because a lot of the media, a lot of times we're talking about heavy stuff that's important for you to know, but there's some other things that you can know that are part of current events and it can kind of lift you up, like the next story we're going to be talking about here, which I'm really happy to share. I think this story comes from The Guardian, and it is really, really fantastic news. In the last 20 years, the prognosis has improved considerably for women who are diagnosed with early stage breast cancer, according to a new study from the University of Oxford. Researchers tracked the survival rates of 500,000 women diagnosed with breast cancer in England between the years 1993 and 2015 and found that today, patients diagnosed early are 66% less likely to die from the disease than they were 20 years ago. The risk of death from breast cancer is the highest 5 years after a diagnosis, the researchers said, and the rate was 14.4% for women diagnosed between 1993 and 1999. That number dropped to 4.9% for women diagnosed just a decade later between 2010 and 2015. The scientists published their study in the journal BMJ and wrote that because the prognosis has improved substantially since the 1990s, most can expect to be long-term cancer survivors. Now, is that some good news or is that some good news?
Yeah, it's some good news because you always feel like there's never any advancements being made.
Right.
How I always feel.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just, I mean, again, it was just a few decades ago. I remember when I was a kid, especially in the 70s and 80s, where, women who got breast cancer, you're like, you're basically preparing your friend or your family member to transition. I mean,
Mhm.
it was very, I mean, and because there was no early catching of the disease. A lot of times it was already really, really bad by the time it was diagnosed. And then there weren't as many solutions. And now early detection is saving lives and continues to save lives. And now they can say, according to this study, that most breast care patients who are diagnosed early will be long-term survivors.
Because those first 5 years
First
after,
5 years.
yeah, are the critical.
I mean,
Yeah.
wow. And just to put a even finer point on this, go read the article in The Guardian. It's posted to our chat. But they say for some patients, the risk of death within 5 years is as low as 0.2%. That is amazing. That's amazing to me.
Oh, it is amazing because I know it's so little.
It's so
Um,
little.
yeah.
It's like that means basically, statistically speaking, most people who, according to this sample, in terms of some women, the people who are within this, and you have to read the article to go more in depth, but the women that are part of, that are part of that particular statistic, statistically, if they get cancer and they're diagnosed within 5 years, they're going to live. Period.
Mhm.
That's yeah. Wow.
Now, and think that this study went to 2015. Now we're in 2023
Correct. 8 years
already,
later.
right? And the other thing is though that this is research that's coming out of the UK.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not American or Canadian
Correct.
study that they're citing. So I'm just wondering if that's different for here.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Yeah.
Because again, they said that they tracked 500,000 women diagnosed with breast cancer in England
Mhm.
during this time.
Mhm.
Hopefully, there's similarities in women who are uh, going to their doctor, going through the same diagnoses, and getting their prognosis and that kind of thing. They're on the same kind of track. Um, but my guess is that there'll be other studies that'll come out from the United States and Canada, um, for this. You know,
Just to know, would be nice to know if we're having the same results with,
right,
the way that we treat people here.
right.
I don't know what kind, maybe they have different technologies. I don't
Hmm.
know. And how often. So I know here they breast screening, I think they do every 5 years,
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's the internal test that we do too, the
Hmm.
PAP for, I don't know if you guys call it the same, but that they were doing every year. And
Wow.
now
Okay.
they've reduced it. Now they've reduced it to I think it's every 5 for that too.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, because of money and funding.
Right.
So we know that, you know, early detection is key
Key. Right.
when it comes to this. And that, I know a lot of celebrities or people in the media always encourage people to go and see your doctor regularly. Don't just go when things get bad
Right.
because early detection is key. So that's what I'm just wondering if, our protocols here, let's say, are as positive as the one that we're talking about.
Right.
I pray.
And just to kind of put this into context as we are moving closer to our break here, and the article goes into that through the power of science, research, and clinical trials and screening over the last 20 years, huge improvements have been made in cancer diagnosis and treatment. However, the UK lags behind other countries when it comes to cancer survival. So, as great as numbers as this is across their study over 500,000 women, it appears, and we don't know what countries there are. It appears that that this is good news, and the other good news is that in other countries, women actually have a even higher a percentage
Mm.
of women that are actually long-term survivors. So this is all great news. Again, this is what we're trying to do here with Motivational Mondays. Give people information that they may not get anywhere else. Which is why we want you to come back and listen to us. um, because I mean, where else are you going to get this? Where are you going to get information about like more positive stories that are fact based, and that are real, and that hey, things aren't as bad as maybe you think. So,
Mhm.
anywho, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have one of our last stories, which comes from actually out of New York City, and some really good, again, some additional good news about our environment. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Solivity. We'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Yes, yes, yes. You can catch another great Steps to Happiness show with Teresa Greco on Thursday, 12 noon, where she is going to be talking about transforming fear into happiness. It's going to be a good show, huh, Teresa?
Yes, awesome show.
So you can go to, I just put a link in the chat. You can go check out Teresa, and you won't be dissatisfied. These shows that you do, Teresa, are so much fun.
Thank you. And they are really about the steps
Absolutely.
we can take to live happier lives.
Absolutely. And speaking of happier lives, this is why we're doing Motivational Monday.
Yes.
We want to start your week off with some happiness here on This Morning with Solivity. And we've got one final story. Yes, I know it's always too soon. One final story that comes from CBS News, and it's on our environment. The United Nations has adopted its first ever High Seas Treaty, which it says forges a common wave of conservation and sustainability in the high seas beyond national boundaries. The Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Treaty, or BBNJ, is legally binding and was signed by the 193 UN member states. And it states to prevent a cascading of the species extinctions. UN Secretary General Special Envoys for Oceans Peter Thompson told CBS News, approximately 2/3 of the ocean is considered international waters, and the treaty comes just 1 year after COP15, the UN Biodiversity Conference, agreed to put 30% of the planet and 30% of the degraded ecosystems under protection by 2030. To meet that target, we'll have to establish marine protected areas in the high seas, and happily, the BBNJ treaty will give us the legal means to do that. And again, that was from UN Secretary General Special Envoys for the Oceans, Peter Thompson. Wow. So two great stories on the environment today. This just makes me happy. It makes me happy that we're taking our planet more seriously, and it seems like most governments are on board in doing that, and that they see not just the value of it generally speaking, but that it's something that we need to do and we need to continue to do. What say you, Teresa?
Yeah, taking more ownership and accountability.
Yeah.
For our actions, and that, in these particular areas, that it's easy to just be like, well, it's not my part. It's right. It doesn't fall in my jurisdiction. It doesn't fall, close to my country. But that, often what we're doing has a wider impact than maybe that we think, and that we know that some bad things happen. There's these oil disasters that happen, and then it affects not just the immediate area, but with the way that the oceans work, and the wind, and the moon, and all of those parts, that we see that devastation for kilometers away. That I know there was an oil spill that happened, and unfortunately there's more than one that's happened,
Right.
and there was like the impact of that was showing up on the coast of British Columbia in Vancouver, there in Canada.
Wow.
And it had I don't wanna say which one. I can't remember the name of the one that happened, but, I feel like it was the Exxon Valdez one. I
Hmm.
feel like that's the one that it was, and it was showing up, like, kilometers away, and it's like, this is why, we people have to take more accountability because it doesn't just affect, maybe that immediate area, but for distances farther away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In this story, it talks about that, you got literally hundreds of millions of square miles of water, right? In terms of our expanse, known as the high seas. But only 1% of that largely unexplored expanse has been protected, right? And
Wow.
so there's this one quote it says, "The high seas are among the last truly wild places on earth," says Monica Medina, who's the Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Bureau of Oceans and International Environment and Scientific Affairs, who is the Biden administration's chief negotiator and supporter of the treaty. She said, "It's often said that the ocean is too big to fail, and that is simply not true. The ocean is more fragile than most people understand. It is also more essential. It provides the oxygen we breathe and foods for tens of millions of people." So, I mean, again, this is fantastic. This is fantastic news. It's
Yeah.
really fantastic news that, again, I didn't see this around uh any other news. Did you, Teresa?
No, no, we always just hear about climate change and how everything's going wrong and how they're pushing electric vehicles and those type we don't hear about these good things. And that also noted in the article is how China's on board with
Mhm.
this, right? That
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're, very supportive of the treaty, and it says China has been actively engaged in the negotiations
Yep.
and trying hard to make it and they're trying hard to make their contribution. So we know there's a lot of, China is one of those,
Right. Right. And
not just with them, but some other Asian countries too are big contributors to climate change, let's say.
mhm, mhm, mhm. And
Construction.
I think they said that the only last hurdles for this to be ratified in the 60 member countries that include China, does not include Russia. Huh, no surprise there. Um, and that means here in the United States, and probably here in the United States, it needs to be ratified by the Senate. And my guess in Canada, where you are, Teresa, it's got to be ratified by Parliament, right? But my guess is that if the United States ratifies it and China ratifies it in their government, in terms of their parliament, there, it's going to be ratified. I mean, people are going to ratify it. All the other people are going to fall in line and do so,
Mhm, mhm.
which is really good news. Really, really, really good news for our environment once again. So another great story. Another great
Yay.
story, and this is how we do it.
Yes, love it.
Every motivational Monday, we pick a few stories and we tell you about them, again, to get you uh, off and running for your week. Well, I really love that last story though. We can come together, right, Teresa?
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm,
yeah, there's division and there's geopolitical things that are happening in the world,
mhm,
where uh, countries are positioning, but there's also things that we do come together on and that we can make happen, which is
mhm,
what this is all
mhm.
about.
Yes,
So,
thank you for pointing that out. Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, of course. Of course. Wow. So we're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll do our normal shameless Solivity plugs to let you guys know about what's available for you to help improve your life either through your health or wellness or professionally. I know, Teresa, you've got something fantastic that is going on right now in your world, where just in a few weeks you can increase uh, and have more mental freedom. So we're going to be talking about that in just a second, but we'll be back with more of This Morning with Solivity in just about 30 seconds.
6 years ago, when I started Solivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
I just love that commercial. Because that's what we are about here, that's what we're all about here. So let's get to our Solivity shameless plugs here, and then our first one is coming from you, Teresa, where you're talking about 6 weeks to mental freedom. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Can you tell us a little about this?
Yes, I love it too, because this particular program was created to give you tools to handle pretty much any situation that's going to come up. So every week for the 6 weeks, you will be learning about one of the tools and how you can apply it to various situations that come up
Mm-hmm.
to give you more mental freedom, more inner peace, and ultimately more happiness. And so it's a proven program created by Kim Olver,
Mm-hmm.
who has been a trainer of another science-backed program for over 30 years, basically tweaked it and then created mental freedom. And so many people don't have tools that they can rely on to work through various situations that come up, not
Right.
only now, but maybe stuff that's lingering from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it really gives you an opportunity to reframe the situation by looking at it through a different lens, through the lens of a tool
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to process it and come to peace and ultimately giving you more mental freedom. This program is incredible, and it's being offered for as the very first cohort here
Mhm.
on Aspire for a crazy, crazy low price. That this program is, once it goes live, let's say after the cohort, after the
Mhm.
beta, it's going to be $1,800, but it's being offered for $333, which is basically
Wow.
$50 a week.
Wow.
And it's a
Wow.
very small integrated group, no more than 8 people, so
Right.
very small. And that's just because of, how to keep the group and what we're learning like super effective. We don't want it to be, overly big.
Mhm.
But for like $50 a week, I think it's super affordable to be able to arm yourself
Mhm.
with tools that you can apply.
And just to let people know this too, that um, through our platform, we offer special pricing where if we offer Afterpay, we offer Clara, and other buy now, pay later programs. So if you're finding that, listen, you want to be able to pay this off over a period of time, you can do that. So
Amazing.
don't let cost or price or anything like that limit you from taking a course like this or any of our other courses that are being sold by us. We try to make this affordable so that you can move on and do the work that you need to do to tackle the challenges that you have and the obstacles that you may need to go over so that you can live your best life today. So just
Mhm.
wanted to make sure I told that to people too. So this is a
Thank
great
you.
offering, Teresa. I mean, there's things like, where as the information is telling us that this can help you with any situation, relationship problems, past trauma, career decisions, even parenting challenges, addiction, mental health concerns. There's a lot of things that you can learn and grow from by taking this course. So I just wanted to kind of let people know that this is a fantastic offer, and sign up now, sign up today.
And it gives you the ability to heal yourself. That's really the premise of this, right?
Yeah,
That it doesn't take, the founder believes that it doesn't take years and years of counseling and therapy in order
right,
to work through what you might that might be weighing you down and
right.
holding you back from living your best life.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely,
this is you helping yourself, as I said, arming yourself with the tools that you need
absolutely.
in
So go
6 weeks.
yeah, 6 weeks, right? It's cheap. So go check out 6 weeks to mental freedom with Teresa Greco. You can go to our website at solivity.com/Teresa Greco for more information on how you can get get freedom and mentally today with Teresa Greco. So one last plug that we've got going on here. We want to let you know that a new Soulivity.com is coming. It's launched
Woo!
July 6th of this year, about a week or so away. So we're going to be offering even more capabilities, more functionality, more features, and this is all just for you. We know you're going to love it. We can't wait to share that with you. So note your calendar, July 6th, the new Soulivity.com is coming to you. And that's it for our
Yay.
day. Teresa, such a great show. I always love doing this with you.
Thank you. I love doing it with you too, because it really does set me on the right foot for the day. But
Mhm.
as you said, we're doing it to set people on for the right foot for the week.
Absolutely.
And what we talked about, just an article last week where, we think that we have a very, very jaded view of the world and what's happening. But
Mhm.
the truth is that research shows the truth is good things are happening.
Absolutely.
We're just not
Absolutely.
talking about them. So that's what we're
So
doing.
that's what we're doing here. We're going to talk about it every Monday. So be it here or be square, Anyway, listen, remember to follow us on social media and remember to join our mailing list by visiting the This Morning Solivity site now at solivity.com/this morning. On behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you again for joining us for our great Motivational Monday episode. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen at 9 a.m. on Thursdays and Fridays on KMET 1490 AM radio on the Southern California. We'll see you next time.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.